If you're hiring based on who's cheapest, you're literally stealing from yourself. And as a small business owner, you will lose more money on bad hires than you will ever save on salaries. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest hiring mistakes you can make and how to avoid them, so working with people stops feeling like a pain in the ass and is something that you enjoy and that makes you money. So let's start with the most expensive mistake. If you're hiring based on who's the cheapest, you're stealing from yourself, because good people are usually not cheap and cheap people are usually not good. So let me give you a comparison. Would you rather go for somebody who costs you 4K in a month but brings in 20K, for example, or would you rather go for the person that costs you 6K but delivers 30K in a month and gives you like 10 or 15 hours back? I'm sure that in 99% of the cases, you would go for the second one. And I say 99 instead of 100 because I'm sure that in some world, somehow, somewhere, there's a reason to hire the first person. But in most cases, you would go for the person, you'd pay a little more, but that just gives you so much more in return. Because the thing is that when you're hiring people and they seem really, really great, but they're asking for a low salary, something's off. And if you don't find out immediately, you will most definitely find out in the long run. It's like trying to buy a Ferrari for the price of a Toyota. It just won't happen, and it's the same with employees. But even if you manage to find a Ferrari and you manage to buy it for the price of a Toyota, well, sooner or later the thing's gonna break, something's going to pop up, and it's going to cost you a lot more to fix it than it would have initially cost you to just buy the thing regularly. So let me give you a personal example. I used to hire recruiters at minimum wage because I thought they used to scan CVs, call people, invite them, ask them a fixed set of questions. And so I considered it grunt work. So I thought, okay, I can hire people fresh out of school at minimum wage and it will work out. And the thing is that it did work out, but it also gave me a lot of work at the same time, because back then they used to bring in 10 to 15K a month, but they also gave me a lot of problems because I had to put out the fires. I would spend way more time training them and onboarding them and everything. And fast forward a couple of years, now I'm one of the best paying employers in my industry. And what happened is that by doubling the salaries, I 4x their outcomes, and which means that I'm making a lot more money with the same amount of people. So if you want exact numbers around it, I went from making just under 400K with 4 people to making $1.3 million with 4 people. And so same amount of people, same amount of work, but just better people for more money. And if you ever hire cheap and you regretted that option, now you know why. Mistake number 2 is only hiring when you're desperate. If you hire when the situation is the most painful, you will have to choose from who's available, and you won't be able to choose from the people you truly want. And as you know, people are the most important thing in your company. So if you hire the wrong people, you're setting yourself up for a lot of pain down the line. So there are 2 things you need to do to fix this. And the first one is that you have to keep key roles always open. So let's say you're not looking for a sales guy, but a really great sales guy comes along straight from your competitor, already has clients, already has industry knowledge and secrets and whatnot they know. Would you be open to hiring them? Most probably you will, because you know, okay, an extra sales guy is extra revenue. But the thing is that if you just close your applications because you just hired a salesperson, you will never get them. So for key roles, just keep your application always on. That way you can keep getting talent every week of the year. And that's how you build great teams. It's by having the luxury of choosing whoever you want. And the second thing you want to do is aim for 1 interview per week, even when you're not hiring. Because when you're doing an interview every week, you get better at it. So let's compare it to sales for a second. You got good at sales, or you get good at sales, by doing more sales. And in the same way, you get good at recruiting people by doing more interviews. And that way, when an A player comes your way, planned or unplanned, you will be a better recruiter, even if you're the business owner, I know, but as a business owner, you are the recruiter, you are the sales manager, you are your own admin sometimes. And that will make a better recruiter out of you. And because of that, you will be able to attract more A players. They will choose for you more easily because you will know what to say to them, how to convince them. And that's why practice is very, very important when you're trying to build a team of A players. So for example, for me, I also made that mistake because I used to wait until I was completely drowning in work. And my criteria for hiring used to be clients complaining. I knew that, okay, my clients are complaining, which means that I'm understaffed, so I need to hire. But when I started hiring, when my clients were complaining, it was already too late, because by the time I found somebody, they chose for me, I onboarded them, I trained them, and they were fully operational, my clients were pissed. And I lost a lot of money because of that. So what I now do is that I hire based on two signs. The first one is if my team starts complaining that there is too much work, or if I know that there's a big project coming my way which will require more staff. And as soon as I notice it, I start hiring immediately. In the wrong case, you have people that you don't need and nobody forces you to hire them anyway, so you might as well meet them, because you're better safe than sorry. Mistake number 3 is hiring without a test. If you ever got disappointed by somebody you hired, it's most probably because you didn't have them doing a test before you hired them. So let me explain. Whenever you have to hire somebody, either you test what they say or you just buy the story they tell you. And I don't know for you, but I'd rather buy certainty. So what you're going to do is that you're going to give them a simple test. So for a sales guy, you might be like, hey, okay, let's do some cold calling. Just let's role play it, cold call me. Or you give them the script of how they have to sell, and then within a week, they have to send you a video they record themselves of how they are trying to convince you to buy your own product or something. Or if you're looking for an admin, you give them a screenshot of your inbox in your calendar and you'll be like, okay, this is my calendar, this is my inbox, these are the guidelines. You have 24 hours to give me a mock-up of how you would change it. And that way you see what people are actually worth and you buy the person with the skills and not the story. Because what you want to look for is just execution, speed, quality, how they do things in a general way. And you will also communicate more with them, you will go back and forth a little, and that will kind of simulate how you will work together in the future. And that's why doing a test is always the way to go. Now, you can do a free test if it's just something really, really simple, or you can do a paid test if it's a big task. If it's a big task, or you think you really have somebody great in front of you, you don't want to lose them by asking them to do a lot of work for no money, because most probably will just say no, and then you will have lost them. And we don't want that now, do we? So what I do for my recruiters is that I give them a writing test. And in that writing test, I ask them to sell themselves to me as the ideal candidate for my business. Because I know that if they can sell themselves to me as the ideal candidate for my business, they will be able to sell candidates to other companies for their business. So it kind of simulates the work environment. And also it gives me a clear indication of, did they write the email or did ChatGPT write the email? How good are they at using ChatGPT if I notice they used it? But also, what's their skill level? Because for some roles, I'm 100% willing to train people and I'm okay with mistakes and I'm okay with getting results that are like a 7 out of 10. It's okay because I know I will have to train them, but then at least I know what I'm getting into. And mistake number 4 is hiring the bad fit because it's urgent. When you hire the wrong person, you're actually filling a role twice, plus you're cleaning up the mess. Let me explain. If you have to hire somebody and it's really urgent and you don't have time to wait for the right fit, you can do 2 things. The first one is that you can look at freelancers or consultants. And yes, they might cost you more, but at least you're getting somebody who is available immediately with experience, and it's better to pay those people to do the job correctly at a higher price point than to hire somebody who's not a right fit and having to clean up the mess later. So that's the first thing. The second thing is keeping a hiring pipeline at all time, because when you're keeping your hiring pipeline open at all time, whenever a surprise comes up, you've got people waiting, you've got people you can call or email, and you will fill your jobs much faster and reduce urgency. So what I personally do is that I always start hiring early. So for example, I know that in 4 to 6 months from now, I will need a second admin, but I just opened the role because I know that I have time to hire the right person. And even if I mean a super nuclear admin, I can still hire them because I'd rather have somebody early than have somebody late. And even if I don't find the right people right away, it's okay because I've got time. I've got 6 months in front of me, and it's a lot nicer coming from a place where you've got time than coming from stress and anxiety. And mistake number 5 is hiring without a presentation. If you're hiring without a presentation, you're missing out on almost half the candidates, because half people are visual, and if you don't show them something, they will not understand. And if they don't understand, they won't choose for you. It's the same thing as you have with clients. When you pitch your business to a prospective client, You use a deck, you use a pitch deck, because you want them to understand what you do and how your product and company are a right fit. And it's the exact same thing with employees. When you're trying to hire somebody, you have to pitch them your company as an employer, as a place to work, as a career path, as whatever you want, but you have to pitch it. So what you want in that presentation is who you are, what your mission is, what they will do and how it matters, how you're going to compensate them, talk price, talk numbers in the first interview, and show them what their future looks like in your company. Because that way they will know what they will do, why it matters, what they will get in return now, and what they might expect in the future. And clarity brings decision. Now, let me give you a big benefit of hiring with a presentation. When you hire with a presentation, the presentation does the heavy lifting for you. Even when you're stressed, when you're tired, when you don't have time, at least you've got to go through the presentation, and even if you rush through it, you won't forget anything, and a candidate will have gotten a proper experience, because if they're not clear about what you're doing, they will choose from your competitor. So if you ever got frustrated that people always choose for competitors, one of the things you might look into is hiring with a presentation. And aside from that, if you're ever in a position where you can do the presentation yourself, well, at least you can ask a team member to do it in your place. You just walk them through the presentation once, and if they know the company well enough, well, at that moment, they will be able to just present your deck to the hire, to the candidate, which means that you're getting a chance of delegating recruitment to somebody else in urgent cases. By the way, small side tangent here, do your own recruiting as much as possible. You know how they say you're the best salesperson of your company as the business owner, you're also the best recruiter, because it's your company, it's your dream, it's your baby. Nobody will ever sell it like you, so do it yourself as long as possible. Now, if you saw yourself in these, grab my free 20-hour founder workbook that explains you how to hire, train, and delegate people so you can win back 20 to 30 hours of your time per week. It's completely free. It's the same system I use to go from 60 to 20 hours per week. And if you want some help or you've got some questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll see you in the next video.